So with baseball...
Did you get nervous?
I don't know what it was. With baseball, I remember my highlight of baseball was winning the ball at Red Berry's baseball camp in Miami one summer. I won the in-leaguer of the week. Like I was the best...
camper, yeah.
Not the camper, not the best on the team, but for the week, I was the best infielder.
Oh, okay.
I was the first baseman. I got 2 balls, and I threw a guy at second, and I got 3 hits. But then when I go to North Bergen, I'd strike out, and balls would go between my legs. And then I tried basketball, and I was fucking horrible at that. And then I got into football. And football, I showed little promise when it was 13 to 15, because I couldn't play in high school because I was always 143. You couldn't weigh more than 135.
What?
So, yeah, in high school you had 120, not high school,
middle school?
grammar school,
Yeah.
The Eagles and the Red Raiders. So you had to be 125 and 135. For the Raiders, I was always tall and lanky, so I couldn't fuck. And my bones were heavy, so I didn't
You know Joey Diaz, tall and lanky.
Did you see the picture? You saw the pictures from freshman year?
Yeah,
no. He saw real pictures.
Another one, okay.
With my needle shoulders. I used to have those my freshman year. And then, freshman year I went out and I sucked in football. But I tell you where I started to break out, karate. I would go to karate, and I went to karate so much during the week that obviously you get good. So I would go to those little 5th grade, 6th grade tournaments, point sparring, and I would do good.
Yeah.
Not as good as I do in the fucking class, though. In the class, I always had great endurance, and I always had flexibility. So I was into these nice little kung fu kicks and shit. But in tournaments, guys would kick my legs and shit like that, and it was a different game.
Yeah.
I would have to fight guys that weren't good at kicking legs. I would have to pick my bracket, and, I knew how to convince the fucking, So that's what made... Then basketball was where hard work came in. I knew I was bad, and I was so bad that I wrote to every college coach that I admired. I got a book, and I wrote to Duke, to Bill Foster. I wrote to Dean Smith.
You wrote him letters?
Wrote him letters. The guy from Syracuse, Marty Head, he's been there for 30,000 years. Not Marty, I forget what his name is, Jim.
Calhoun? No, that's UConn. Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim, I wrote him a letter in 77, 78, and they all sent me packages on how to improve.
They did?
Yeah.
That's something about... There's some quality about a real coach.
These coaches all had packages at that time because they're recruits. Then I would send... I went to 5-star. First I went to Willis Reed basketball camp. Then I went to Boo's basketball camp. And then I went to another and I was really good.
Really?
By the time I got to the 8th grade, people were like, what the fuck happened? It was all summer long. It was riding a bicycle with a basketball in the middle, up and down hills, go home, eat dinner, sit against the wall and eat dinner, work on my defense, go back to the court. And, I read that Jerry West took 300 jump shots a day. Done. 300 jump shots is how I started my morning. I wouldn't even go play till I hit 300 jump shots. And then I get on the bicycle and go to Union City, West New York, and you always was in front. And it's just like comedy.
Yeah.
That was the first blueprint of my comedy career. You want to get good, you got to go to West New York. You got to go in the morning. You got to wait to get picked. And once they pick you, you better hoop. Because if you don't hoop, they're never going to pick you again for another year. Oh, we had that white motherfucker. He can't hoop. I used to take a bus to Hoboken. I used to fucking go everywhere. And then we started going into the city. Fuck it. Freshman year, 3 white boys. Let's go into the boogie down. We go up there, get a nickel bag, smoke a fucking number, and play with the black dudes. But you had to cover your ass for them to have your back. If you didn't do well or you started trouble, you couldn't come back. So that's how I did it.
So you were playing ball in the city doing this shit?
Fuck yeah. All the way. Then once I went to freshman year, the dream got fucked up. I smoked some reefer. I did a little crystal THC. And I went to see the New Barbarians with Mick Jagger and with Ron Wood and the New Barbarians. And that was it.
That's fucking badass. Joey running the courts in fucking the Bronx.
Do you guys remember the worst that you ever did?
Would you guys play for money?
Once I didn't play high school ball anymore. I would play for money in the afternoons buying hashways. $10, $20. And I would always be like, I'm hurt. I'm not doing this no more. So guys would always, like the guys in the bar, would have a couple drinks, and we'd get them for $1 a blow and shit. And one day it was a situation. The guy went to his car and got a chain.
Jesus.
He said we what do you call that when you set people up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were
a ringer or something.
Yeah, we were ringers. We would set motherfuckers up. But I remember one time being out of high school and being a drug dealer and a criminal and going to a party in Secaucus. And me and some guys were at a party hanging out, and these guys come up to us, hey, you want to play? Yeah, 50 a game. And I'm like, and they're looking at me like, let's tear these motherfuckers up. It was a 7-point game. They scored 7 unanswered points and took our money. We just got in the car and went home. We couldn't even believe it. These guys were sensational.
Where was it?
Irish guys in Secaucus. Really? These white dudes just took it. What the fuck? All right, 1-0. Bam! 2-0. And here's the crazy thing, guys. We were 18, 19.
Yeah.
These guys were men. These guys are like 28. Just took our fucking $50. We went home depressed as fuck.
Crazier when, like, I used to play a lot of basketball. Like, basically up until high school. And then I started again in college. So, like, I didn't play that much in high school after freshman year. And what's even crazier, I feel like, is, like, when I was, like, 22, and I probably got in the best shape I'd ever been in playing basketball all the time. And I played a game against two. It was me and a guy who was like 30-something against 2 sophomores in high school, 2 15-year-old kids. And they were unfucking believable. Like, I was like, oh, shit. Like, we're like old guys. And I was 22 at the time. And in good, I mean, I was like 190. I was running, working out, playing ball all the time, pickup games all the time. And those 2 kids were, the kid that I covered was at least 4 inches shorter than me and was jumping like a full foot higher than me. Like, it was crazy to see somebody kick your ass like that who's 15 years old.
You know, it's amazing how I blame a lot of things. Basketball broke my heart when I didn't really attain the goals I wanted in basketball. It really fucked with me for a long time.
Really?
And I think that when I started comedy, I used the same work ethic, and I knew what I had to do not to fail like I did with basketball. Like, I took basketball too seriously, and when I hit the first hurdle, I said, that's it. I can't take the heartbreak.
Really?
You know, I let it go. And listen, would I have been in the NBA? No. Would I have stopped doing drugs? No. But I would have had something. I would have played those 4 years. I would have had something. My life, I don't know. I just, a friend of mine called me last week and said that he hadn't felt this bad in 30 years. He took his kid to college.